How's it going, guys? My name is Hayley and welcome back to Set to Hike, a channel that is all about hiking. Today's recipe, we are going to cook a chickpea curry. So, let's go! For this recipe, you will need 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of ginger, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, 1 tablespoon of ground cumin, 1 teaspoon of mustard powder, half a teaspoon of chili powder, 1 onion, 50 grams of powdered coconut milk, half a head of cauliflower, 150 grams of green beans, and 2 cans of chickpeas. Step 1. Rinse and drain your chickpeas, ready for dehydration. Step 2. Wash and prepare your vegetables. I won't be blanching any of these vegetables beforehand, but if you prefer to do this, then you can. For most vegetables, you will want to cut them into thin slices, about 1/4 inch thick. This applies to the cauliflower and the onion. For the beans, I will cut them into 2 or 3. Step 3. In a bowl, mix all the spices and powdered coconut milk together, and set aside. Step 4. The dehydrator. Grab your vegetables and nicely space them out onto the dehydrator. If the holes on your dehydrator are too big, like mine, then you can place parchment paper or aluminium foil onto the tray. I will also be using some reusable silicone sheets by a brand called Greener. Spread the tomato paste thinly on the sheets. I found the silicone sheets work best for this, followed by the foil, but the tomato paste stuck to the baking paper, so skip using baking paper for the tomato paste. I set my dehydrator to 70 degrees Celsius. Drying times may vary for each element, so it is best to check every 2 hours and keep rotating your trays. After a few hours, I also peeled the tomato paste off the sheet and flipped it over. Step 5. You know your vegetables will be done as they will become quite brittle. The tomato paste will be somewhat brittle, but it will also feel a little bit like fruit roll. Now you are ready for packaging. I separate each element into a bowl and place it on the bench. Firstly, I'm going to make 4 little envelopes out of baking paper to put the onions in. This is so you can cook the onions separately when you get to camp. You could also just put them in a small Ziploc bag. Because this recipe serves 4, I divide each element into 4. You can either package your meals into Ziploc bags or vacuum seal them. Remember to write the date and description on the packaging. It is best to store these in the fridge or freezer until your next trip. To rehydrate, firstly take out your onions with a dash of water so they can begin cooking and dehydrating at the same time. Remove the onions from the heat and add in everything else. Cover with water so that the water line is just above your food. I let the food sit for about 5 minutes before cooking. Bring your food to the boil and then you can take it off the heat and let it sit covered for another 5 minutes. You can serve this as is or serve it with rice or even mashed potato. Happy eating!